What's up guys, today we'll be looking at the Wyze Cam Floodlight. Picked this up for 80 bucks on Wyze's app, through Wyze's app. Does 270 degrees motion activated floodlight, 1080p full HD and color vision, 2600 lumens, super bright LED. 2600 is super bright, so excited to see what this can do. IP65 rating, weather resistance, free cloud storage for 12-second videos, 24/7 recording, person detection, extra power, extra USB power port, enhanced two-way audio. Go ahead and just pop open the box here. I did pre-order this about 2 months ago, so it was a little bit of a surprise when it just popped at my door. This is a quick start guide. And this is the camera in this piece here. Alright, there we go. And this is a competitor for the popular ring floodlight. However, the ring floodlight cost about 200 bucks. So it's a simple installation. You just need a neutral and a live power source, wire, whatever. LEDs can move around this side up. Okay, there we go. So it's got to be that. All right, yeah. So, and then you okay. So then you can move around the lights like that. This is the motion sensor, and this is the Wyze camera, and I believe it's just a Wyze camera. That's all it is. Yeah. So it's screwed in there. So this is just a typical Wyze camera. This is the outdoor version, and they essentially created a light housing for it. It is nice though that they did include the Wyze camera and not just sell this as an accessory for your Wyze camera. So I really like that. However, I do suspect that, you know, they will come out with a version that you can buy without the Wyze camera, just in case you have one already. You don't have to go through all this. All right, so when it's mounted, that is how it's going to look. That's pretty cool. However, I do have 3 of these cameras, and the two-way audio is not that impressive. It's not. These cameras don't really get that loud. Even when you launch the siren mode, because there is a siren mode on these cameras, again, it's not that loud. So interested to see how it's going to perform, but we'll test it out. And then also in the box was this installation kit, and the installation kit looks like a bracket, hanger, some wire caps, and a plug to probably put in the middle there, and screws. And that's it. Let's go ahead, pinpoint the location to install it, and install it. Installing the floodlight is pretty straightforward. If you install a floodlight before, you'll have no issues installing this because it's the same exact procedure. However, for me, I did not have an exterior electrical box. A box is needed with this light for proper installation. I mean, you could get away with just mounting the light directly to your home, but I wouldn't recommend it. So first step for me was to find a power source. Luckily for me, on the interior of the wall outside I wanted to mount the light is a 120 volts power outlet. After I removed the PTZ, I ran my new wire through my new electrical box and mounted the box onto the house. I also used a flexible aluminum conduit to protect the wire. From there, everything else was easy. The light has a neutral and a live wire. Once wired up, I attached light to the box using the supply brackets, turned back on the power, and I was in business. The light doesn't do anything once powered on, but you will notice an LED on the Wyze camera blinking red. This lets you know that the light is receiving power and it's ready to connect. You then go into the Wyze app, add device, choose device, scan the QR code, connect it to your Wi-Fi, and done. Once added, your lighting camera might want to update, so just go ahead and let it. Once I got everything connected, I turned on the light to see what I was working with myself. This light is bright, easily the brightest floodlight I've ever seen. I mean, look at it. My camera is completely blinded by the light. Look at these photos that were taken about 150 feet away from the light, and you can see it's the brightest light on my block. However, being super bright is also one of its downfalls. The lights are so bright that you can't make out any facial features of any person in motion. But even if you completely shut off the light, the camera doesn't really do much better. You still just get a blur. And I will admit, my backyard is really dark at night. Dark enough to not see where you're going. If something happens on your property and your Wyze camera recorded the act with the lights maxed out, you'll get an idea of what was done, but not by who, if that makes any sense. I lowered and tested the brightness and decrements of 5%, and 15% was the brightest sweet spot. It's bright enough to scare anyone, but wasn't bright enough to wash out motions like before. And I honestly rather have a very powerful light that I can regulate to accommodate the camera's quality rather than a mediocre light that has a camera that records motion well. Because at the end of the day, if I need a super bright light in the backyard so I can work, I can go in the app and turn it up, and then turn it back down when I'm done. But who knows, you might actually not mind the motion blur at all. Like I said, it's not a huge deal breaker by any means. Just keep in mind, I don't think you're going to be able to identify people at night with this floodlight. Even at 15%, you can't really make people out. They still come out as motion blur if they're moving too fast. However, if they are standing still like seen here, you can make them out perfectly fine, no issues. So for the lights, I'm giving the Wyze 10 out of 10 teeth. So now we move on to the camera. Nothing special about the camera that comes with this light. It's a normal Wyze Cam V3 that you can purchase separately for 35 bucks. By design, it's weatherproof and rated for outdoor indoor use. It does 1080p, has two-way audio, and has some of the best low light performances I've ever seen in a cheap camera. I currently have 4 of them throughout the house. Sure, some of them have had their bad days. I've had a couple turn itself off randomly. I've had some constantly drop Wi-Fi connection. The audio and video that are recorded have some serious sync issues. I've had some refuse to connect to Google, while others will have a 20-second delay. But they are pretty good for what you pay. So the camera does allow you to subscribe to Wyze cloud storage solution, so all your events are saved to the cloud. But if you prefer local storage, there is a micro SD card slot you can use. You can set up events to record continuously or through motion and sound triggers. I keep my motion sensitivity at 50%, and I've rarely come across an event that I was looking for that wasn't recorded. But in terms of picture quality, you get an outstanding picture. It's just a shame that there's some serious audio video sync issues with local recording. Despite all that, I give the cameras 8 out of 10 teeth. They pack a serious bite for the money you spend. Now the two-way audio. Originally, I thought the two-way audio was handled through the camera's mic and speaker, which is why I wasn't too hopeful about it. But after installation, I pulled off all the protective sticker and found a large speaker grill on the base of the light. I also noticed a mic right above the PIR motion sensor. When the siren is activated, the speaker isn't that bad. You are able to hear it very clearly given the noise I have with the highway in the back of my house and the wind noise. You can hear it clearly. And I do think my neighbors can hear it as well, although it's not loud enough to cause them to come running. However, when we're talking about two-way audio, no. The mic and the speaker just suck. They plain suck. You're not going to be using this to have a conversation with anybody. Let me also mention you have to be less than 10 feet to actually hear the other person through the speaker and also use the mic. What kind of thief is gonna walk up 10 feet up to the light just so they can talk to you? No one. But as crappy as the two-way audio is, I mean, at least it's there, at least you have it, at least it's an option. Not a very good one, but at least it's an option. Now, I added a second camera to the floodlight. It only uses the floodlight speaker when I activate the siren on the second camera. But when I use two-way audio, it goes through the second camera's mic and speaker instead of the floodlight. Take a listen.
Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king horses and all the king men could not put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king horses and all the king men could not put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king horses and all the king men could not put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king horses and all the king men could not put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
And last, we have the PIR sensor. This sensor is pretty good. I snuck around the corner of the house to get an idea of how close to the light I needed to get before it turns on. And it actually triggered the sensor quite a distance away. I wasn't expecting it, to be that good. That means that the light will come on when needed, and if you have the camera set up to use the PIR sensor as an event trigger, you're always going to have footage recorded during the event. I give the sensor 10 out of 10 teeth. It accommodates the light very well. Let's go over some features that are worth mentioning. Number 1. You do have the ability to turn on and off the light from the Wyze app while you're looking at the live stream. This is cool. I don't know why, but I like it. Number 2. The light is equipped with dusk to dawn automation. This means that you don't need to do anything. The light will never come on during the day, even if it detects motion, and will only come on during the night. This is a selectable feature, so you can turn it off. Number 3. If you don't want the light to turn on through motion, you can simply have it turn on all night and turn off during the day. Again, this is also a selectable feature that can be turned on or off. Number 4. Optional second camera. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, suppose you have the floodlight mounted in a way where you have a blind spot either to your left or right, like how I have a blind spot here. Well, you can attach a second camera and point it where you want to eliminate that blind spot, and voila, blind spot eliminated. Now you have it covered. Number 5, scheduling. Now, this isn't anything special, but if you rather have manual control, you can schedule your lights to come on and off. So I guess it's a feature. Number 6, Google and Alexa integration. Yes, like all great smart cameras, this allows you to access the video feed using your smart display, whether it's Google or Alexa. It works good, but keep in mind that there is some times where you will come across a delay. There was one time I came across a 40-second delay. It was crazy, but for the most part, it works great. Alexa, show me backyard cam 1.
Okay.
So final thoughts. I am impressed with this floodlight. I've never owned the Ring floodlight, but I've read a lot about them, so I'm familiar with the things it can do. However, price has always been a major factor for me. I don't want to spend too much on this. But that doesn't mean I never wanted one. With the Wyze Floodlight, I get everything the Ring promised at half the price. I can pull up the video feed straight from my app along with the rest of my Wyze cameras. I can activate a siren, I can turn on off the floodlights, I can adjust the floodlight's brightness, and just chillax and view all of my recorded events that are stored locally on an SD card. Sure, Wyze isn't perfect. Their app can sometimes be very buggy, and they have audio video sync issues, and I'm just not going to repeat myself. But you get much more than what you pay for. I've reviewed multiple Wyze products throughout the years, and I've always been blown away by how much you get for the money spent. This floodlight is no exception. You get total control over your light and camera. What more could you want? Wyze has successfully taken an expensive product and bring it to the masses. Now, they didn't invent the camera floodlight combo, but they definitely put it into reach for everyone else. A high-end LED floodlight can cost about $60 from Home Depot, and they only do one thing. Not only are you getting a camera with your lights, but also the ability to control those lights from your phone. Something you can't do with a traditional high-end floodlight, unless you get a smart switch. But that's neither here nor there. While making this review, my cousin reached out for a recommendation on a floodlight. She had no idea I was in the process of reviewing the Wyze. I'm just her go-to guy for tech advice. So she sent me the Nature Power 205 LED Solar 2-pack for $130 at the Home Depot. I mean, there's nothing special about these lights other than the fact that they're LED. But, you know, I sent her a link to the Wyze Floodlight and told her it's essentially a smart floodlight with a camera attached. And that was it. She was sold. I mean, think about it. Take away the $35 Wyze camera from the floodlight, and you get a nice LED floodlight for 65 bucks. That's the same exact price of one Nature Power LED floodlight. Although it's worth mentioning, the Nature Power light is 1600 lumens while the Wyze is 2600 lumens. So the Wyze, even just as a floodlight, is better than the Nature Power. But with the Wyze Floodlight, it becomes super smart for just 35 bucks more, bringing the total to $100, which is the selling price. Because remember, the camera costs 35 bucks. So I think Wyze did their research into finding the perfect price, and they nailed it. Because unlike Ring, who just straight up said, let's charge a little over 200 bucks for our floodlight, they said, what price point will make people say, that's a good deal? I would not be surprised if Wyze ends up killing out the traditional dumb floodlights, because at 99 bucks, if you're looking to install a floodlight, why wouldn't you want it to have a camera? But that's just my 2 cents. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down work. Also, if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. My name is Z. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.